Hello, mathematicians. Today we talk about maximal ideals in the ring C01. Okay, it consists of real world continuous functions on closed 0, comma 1. Okay, so many people have requested me to cover this topic. So, in this first video, I talk about maximal ideals. We prove that every we'll see how maximal ideals in C01 looks like. Okay, for example, we will prove that if you fix alpha belongs to closed 0, comma 1, and if you collect Conni's function from closed 0, comma 1 to R, which vanishes at the point alpha, that is what we call I alpha. We will prove that this I alpha is a maximal ideal, but this is easy. Proving that I alpha is a maximal ideal is not a big deal, but we will prove that you take any maximal ideal in C0, comma 1, it will be of the form I alpha. That is the non-trivial part. Okay, so this is a maximal ideal. Conversely, every ideal is of this form. Okay, so let's start. So C01 basically consists of real valued continuous functions on closed 0, comma 1. So set of all continuous function from closed 0, comma 1 to R. That's what it means. And it is a ring with a pointwise addition and a pointwise multiplication. Okay. For example, if you look at f of x equal to x and g of x equal to x square, then the function f plus g is nothing but x plus x square. It is also a continuous function. Fg, their product is x cube. Okay, okay, now we make some minor observations. You fix any subset yes of closed 0, comma 1, say non-empty. Okay, we also assume that s is non-empty, and we define this set I subscript s to be set of all functions in closed 0, comma 1, set of all functions in C01 such that f of x equal to 0 for all x belongs to s. Okay, so set of all functions which vanishes in the set s, that is what we call I subscript s. Then it is a simple exercise to prove that it is an ideal. Okay, so you prove that if you take two function f1 and f2 belongs to is, then the sum is in is, and you take f1 belongs to is and f belongs to c0, comma 1, then the product f dot f1 belongs to is. They verify that. It is very simple to verify. So therefore this is an ideal for any choice of s. Okay, but it is not true that if you consider any ideal, but every ideal in C01 need not be of this form. Okay, so that we will see in the next video. I will talk about prime ideals in C01. In that video, I will prove that that there are ideals in C01 which are not of this form I subscript s for some yes. Okay, okay, now let's make some observation. Suppose we take two subsets of closed 0, comma 1, say s1 and s2, such that s1 contained in s2. Okay, then the associated ideals. So if, when the set increases, the ideals decreases. Okay, so if s1 contains s2, then is2 contains in is1. Okay, so now basically we are interested in maximal ideals, right? Maximal ideal means it is the it is not the whole ring, but after whole ring, this is the largest ideal, right? So this shows that when the set increases, when the set become bigger and bigger, the ideal becomes smaller and smaller. Okay, therefore if this set comes smaller and smaller, then the ideal will become bigger and bigger. Okay, therefore basically from this we try to guess that when this s is singleton set, in that case the ideals will be maximal. That is what our first guess. We going to prove that rigorously. Okay, but that we can understand from here itself. Okay, if s equal to empty set, then basically this will be like a whole ring. Okay, so we skip that. So if it is an, what is the non-empty smallest set? They are singletons. Okay, so from this observation it follows that singletons, if you fix s equal to singleton set, and the corresponding is will be maximal ideals. Okay. Okay, so let's prove this observation. It is a very simple observation. So we claim that every element here is an element here. So you take a element from here, we prove that that element is also here. So f belongs to is2. This means that f of x equal to 0 for all x belongs to s2. Now s2 contains s1. Okay, therefore f of x equal to 0 for all x belongs to s2 means that f of x equal to 0 for all x belongs to s1 also, because s1 is a smaller set. This implies f belongs to is1. Therefore, is2 contained in is1. Okay. Okay. Next, we fix alpha belongs to close 0 comma 1, and we look at we take s to be singleton alpha. Okay. So what is I subscript singleton alpha? We call it I alpha. This is set of all function that vanishes only at the, that vanishes at the point alpha. Okay. So we are looking at the function vanishes at alpha. Okay, the function can vanish at some other points also, but it should vanish at alpha. That is what our constraint. Now we claim that this ideal I alpha, which consists of functions vanish at alpha, it is a maximal ideal in C0, 1. Okay, so we will prove that C01 modulo this ideal is a field. Okay, that will implies that this is a maximal ideal. Okay, because R by I is a field if and only if this I is a maximal ideal. That is our idea of proof. So we define a homomorphism from C0, 1 to R. Okay, defined by pi of f equal to f of alpha. So you take a f, map it to the number f of alpha. So alpha is a point in close 0 comma 1. F is a continuous function on close 0 comma 1. So the image of f for the point alpha we can calculate. Okay, pi of f equal to f of alpha. That is the definition of this homomorphism. F of alpha is clearly a real number. Now it is a very simple exercise. Prove that pi is a ring homomorphism. Next we calculate the kernel of pi. So what is kernel? Set of all elements in the domain such that its image is 0. Okay, but what is pi of f? Pi of s is f alpha. Okay, so set of all f belongs to C01 such that f of alpha equal to 0. This is precisely I alpha. Okay, therefore this is equal to I alpha. Therefore kernel of this map is I alpha. Next we claim that this is a onto homomorphism. So to prove onto, you have to prove that you take a point here, you should prove that it has a pre-image here. Okay, so I take a t belongs to R, and we look at the function f of x equal to x minus alpha plus t. Okay, this is a fixed constant, this is a fixed constant. So this is like f of x equal to x plus a, that kind of functions. Basically it is a polynomial, so it is a continuous function. Therefore f belongs to C01. Now we calculate what is pi of f. Pi of f equal to f of alpha, that is a definition. So if we substitute x equal to alpha, you get alpha minus alpha plus t, which is equal to t. Therefore pi of f equal to t. So if you take a t here, you are getting a pre-image here such that pi of f equal to t. Therefore this function is onto. Therefore by first isomorphism theorem for a ring homomorphism, C01 by I alpha is isomorphic to R. Okay, so what is first isomorphism theorem? So pi from R1 to R2 ring homomorphism. Okay, and we assume it is onto also. Then R1 by kernel of phi isomorphic to R2. That is what we are using here. Therefore C01 by I alpha isomorphic to R. But this is a field. So R by I isomorphic to field if and only if this I alpha is a maximal ideal. Okay, so we proved that I alpha is a maximal ideal. Okay, but there may be some maximal ideal which is not of the form I alpha. Okay, but we are going to prove that I alpha is a maximal ideal. Fine. The converse, Every maximal ideal is of the form I alpha. That is very, very important. You appear for any interview in TAF or IASC, IMSC, many times they ask this question. Okay, so proving I alpha is a maximal ideal is very simple, but every maximal ideal is of the form I alpha is very, very important, and you can see many CSI problems also related to that. Okay, let I be a maximal ideal in C0, 1. We claim that this I is of the form I alpha for some alpha belongs to close 0, 1. That is what we claim that. If we prove that, then these I alphas are the only maximal ideals in the ring C0, 1. Okay. Before proving this result, first we prove some other result. So you take, now let's take I to be some proper ideal. Okay, proper ideal means it is not equal to C0, 1, not equal to the full ring. Then you take any proper ideal, we claim that you can find a beta belongs to close 0, 1 such that f of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. Okay, so if you take any proper ideal, you can find a point in close 0, 1. Every point, every functions in this ideal will vanish at this one point. That is our claim. Okay, so how to prove that? We want to find one point such that every function f in I vanishes at this point. Okay, but we assume, suppose this is not true. Okay, what is this meaning? What does it mean? It means that there is no point beta such that f of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. Or equally, you take any beta in close 0, 1, you can find f belongs to I such that f of beta is not equal to 0. Okay, so try to understand the logical argument we are trying to do. We claim that there is a beta such that f of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. Okay, we assume, suppose it is not true, that means that given a beta, there is a function f belongs to I such that f of beta not equal to 0. To understand this, you can think like this. Think of as I as say set of all people in India. Okay, and close 0, 1 as set of all like say, okay, set of all Hindi movies. Okay, we claim that there is a movie which is liked by everybody in India. Okay, that is what we are claiming. That is what we want to prove. Okay, so to prove that, we assume that, suppose it is not true. Okay, what does it mean? It means that, so what we are assuming? We are assuming that there is no movie which is liked by all the Indians. Okay, so that means that given a movie, you take any Hindi movie, you can always find a person who doesn't like that movie. Okay, so that is what is the argument. So suppose not, then given a movie, you can always find a person who doesn't like that movie. Okay, okay, I hope this analogy is fine. So suppose this is not true, you can find a beta belongs to close 0, 1 such that f such suppose not, then for all beta belongs to close 0, 1, you can find a function which is not equal to 0 at this point. Okay, for given a beta, there exists a function, so we call this function f subscript beta. Okay, so this f subscript beta is the name of a function that satisfies the condition that at the point beta, f beta takes a non-zero value. Okay, and this such f beta exists for all beta belongs to close 0, 1 by our assumption. Now, if a continuous function takes a non-zero value at a point, then it takes a non-zero value in a neighborhood of this point. Okay, it is a very simple exercise in real analysis. If a continuous function take a non-zero value at a point beta, then you can find a neighborhood around the point beta such that the function takes non-zero value inside all the points of this neighborhood u beta. Okay, so you try to prove that, or I'll make a separate video on this. There are some more problems as application of this particular result can be proved in CSIR, so I will do it separately. Okay, therefore for each beta there exists a function f beta and a neighborhood of u beta and a neighborhood u beta of beta such that the function f beta is not equal to 0 at all the points of u beta. Okay, okay, so at least for each point beta in close 0 comma 1 we have got a neighborhood u beta of the point beta. Okay, now we collect all those neighborhoods, set of all u beta such that beta belongs to close 0 comma 1. Note that beta is a point in u beta because u beta is a neighborhood of beta. Okay, therefore this forms a open cover for close 0 comma 1. Why? Because you take any point in close 0 comma 1, it will belongs to u beta, and you are taking all the u beta for beta belongs to close 0 comma 1. Okay, so this is a very big open cover. If you consider only the center of each of the u betas, that alone will cover close 0 comma 1. Okay, now close 0 comma 1 is a compact set, therefore every open cover will have a finite subcover. This open cover will also have a finite subcover. Okay, so we take a u beta 1, u beta 2, etc. u beta n is a finite subcover. Therefore close 0 comma 1 is equal to union I equal to 1 to n u beta I. Okay, now note that for each u beta we have a continuous function f beta belongs to I such that f beta of x not equal to 0 in this neighborhood u beta. Okay, so for every u beta we have a function f beta. We take all those. So for u beta 1 you have f beta 1, for u beta 2 you have f beta 2. We are squaring all those functions and you are adding. Okay, so f equal to summation I equal to 1, I equal to 1 to n f beta I square. Okay, okay, we consider this function to get a contradiction. Okay, let's see. Now f betas are elements of I. Each of these f beta are elements of I. I is an ideal. So now therefore square will also belongs to I. Its sum will also belongs to I. This implies that f belongs to I. This is a point in I. Okay, now let's take a point x belongs to close 0 comma 1. Okay, then since this is a open cover, we have this equality. Therefore if you take a point here, it will belongs to at least one u beta I. Okay, this implies that x belongs to u beta I for some 1 less than or equal to I less than or equal to n. Okay, if x belongs to u beta I, the function f beta I takes non-zero value at this point x. Okay, so this implies that f beta I square takes a positive value. Okay, this might be a negative value, but when you take the square it will be a positive value, strictly positive value. Okay, so if you look at so this is a arbitrary x belongs to close 0 comma 1, and if this f of x is equal to f beta 1 of x square, f beta 2 square of x plus etc plus f beta n square of x. Okay, so you take arbitrary x, there is a I such that f beta I square of x is greater than 0. That's what we proved. So at least one term will be positive and all the other terms are squares, therefore they are all non-negative. Therefore f of x is positive. So f of x is positive at all the points of close 0 comma 1. Okay, so already we proved that f is a point in I, therefore it is a continuous function in close 0 comma 1. Continuous function and continuous function, I mean f is a function in I which satisfies the condition that f of x is strictly greater than 0 for all x. Now This means that f of x is not equal to 0 for all x belongs to close 0 comma 1. This implies that 1 by f of x, this is defined to be 1 by f of x. This is also a continuous function. Okay, so if f is a continuous function, then 1 by f is also a continuous function, provided that function should not take the value 0 anywhere. So since f is not equal to 0 for all x belongs to close 0 comma 1, we get 1 by f is also belongs to c 0 comma 1. Therefore f is a unit in the ring C close 0 comma 1 because it has a multiplicative inverse. Okay, and I is an ideal and f is a unit. Okay, if f is a unit means that f inverse will belongs to the ring C 0 comma 1. Okay, f inverse is nothing but 1 by f, that is a in C 0 comma 1. Now I is an ideal, f is a point in the ideal, f inverse is a point in the ring. So if you multiply them, the result will be a point in I. Okay, from the definition of I. Therefore, we get 1. The point 1 belongs to I. 1 means constant function 1. Okay. So once 1 belongs to 1, we got it because f into f inverse will give us 1. Okay, the multiplicative identity element. So once 1 belongs to I, you take any continuous function f in C 0 comma 1. Now 1 is a point in the ideal, f is a point in the ring C 0 comma 1. By the ideal definition, its product will be a point in I. In particular, 1 times f is equal to f. Okay, so we get every point of f, every function in C 0 comma 1 belongs to I. We conclude that the I equal to C 0 comma 1. But in the beginning, we took a proper ideal. Okay, and we claim that there is a beta such that f of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. We claimed that there is a Hindi movie which is liked by all the Indians, and we assumed, suppose it is not true, and we get a contradiction. Therefore, we conclude that there is a Hindi movie which is liked by all the Indians. Okay, there is a beta such that f of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. Okay, so we uh, so now you recall the definition of I beta, I subscript beta. I subscript beta is set of all f belongs to C 0 comma 1 such that f of beta equal to 0. Okay. Now we just proved that there is a beta such that C0, there is a beta, sorry, not C01, there is a beta belongs to close 0 comma 1 such that f of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. F of beta equal to 0 for all f belongs to I. Therefore, every element in the ideal I vanishes at the point beta. Therefore, I is contained in I beta. Okay. Now, so what we have proved, you take any proper ideal, it will be sit inside some maximal ideal I beta. Okay. Note that we are just proving our result for arbitrary proper ideal. We haven't used the assumption that I is maximal. Okay. Now we assume that I is a maximal ideal, and using that we prove that I equal to I beta. Okay. Okay. So if I is a maximal ideal, then definitely it is a proper ideal. We just proved that I is contained in I beta. Therefore, this maximal ideal I is also contained in I beta. Okay. But I is a maximal ideal. We already proved that in the beginning of this video, I beta is a maximal ideal. This is a maximal ideal and this is a maximal ideal means that both of them should be equal. Therefore, if you take any arbitrary maximal ideal, it is of the form I beta for some beta belongs to close 0, 1. Okay. When you learn something, please learn conceptually. There is a lot of beautiful mathematics is going on. So many people just know that this I beta form a maximal ideal. They are maximal ideal in C01. Nobody knows the proof. Okay. But if you learn things conceptually, and if I mean it will stay in your mind also long time. You will also enjoy mathematics. Okay. Okay. If you like this video, uh, please share and subscribe to my channel and like this video also. Thank you.